Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
How is everyone?
Morning.
Awesome, awesome. I'm super excited to see everybody today. Let's rock and roll a little bit. Maria, you want to share your screen? Awesome. All right, so we're really excited. We're going to have Simon talk to us a little bit later in the meeting. So I thought I wanted to just tee that up so everybody can get excited about that, because Simon always has a lot of good stuff to offer. Okay, now next. My kids give me grief because they say I guilt them into things. I don't know if I'm the only parent that guilts into things, but guess what? I am officially guilting all of you into going to Mega Camp. And if you don't sign up for Mega Camp, I'm saying right here, right now, I'm actually gonna be mad. So everybody sign up for Mega Camp. Maria, let's just click off that little video that some of you guys have seen before. We don't have any volume for some reason on that because Maria's on mute. Okay, so here's what you need to know about Mega Camp. Number one, September 15, 16, 17. I've been saying that so much that I'm sure it's in all of your calendars, but it needs to be. That's number one. Number two, you register by going to Mega Camp, just megacamp.com. There's plenty of, it'll pop right up. You register. You can check with me, and if you want to invite somebody that's a producer in the industry in another firm, let me know, and if they would like to go, they'll go as our guest, and so will you. So just check with me first. I can check their production levels, but guys, we're being really generous on that. We want to get people there. Several of us, Howard, Kara, Maria, and I at least got a sneak preview today of what Mega Camp was going to look like. And it's not going to be just sitting on a Zoom, guys. It's amazing. It's going to be very interactive. Breakout rooms. You can go in networking groups. You can pick a topic and go network with people. There's, of course, going to be the main stage things. Gary Keller will be talking. Jason Abrams will be speaking. Josh Team will be speaking. Then some speakers from the outside. The first day, I believe on the Tuesday, the 15th, there's going to be about 4 hours of Gary interviewing top agents. And as you know, those of you that have gone before, you always learn so much when you do that about what your business can be. So if you're in this industry because you want to build a big business, there is no excuse not to go. It's $129. Even if you can't block all 3 days, I promise you what you do experience will be amazing. So if your business is not what you want it to be, you need to go. If your business is what you need it to be, then I know you're going, because all the people that are producing at high levels go to these events. So there's nothing to think about, guys. Sign up. All right, next, we always kick our meetings off with bucket fills, right? So I want to go first today. So hold on one sec. For Jean for all the amazing work they did.
Thank you.
On all the amazing work they did on the racial equity town hall. So we're gonna hunt you down, Jean, but thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. It was amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was sweet. Thank you.
Jean, I'll put them in water for you.
I'll be in later.
Okay.
So who else has bucket fills?
I just want to second the motion on that first one.
Awesome.
Me too. I third.
The motion. Can't thank you ladies enough. It was really, really something else. Couldn't have done it without you. You're such unbelievable leaders, and I'm just so grateful for everything you did to bring it to life. Thank you.
Well, Vanessa, thank you for your introduction to the coalition, and everybody jumped in on that. Jackie was was the brains behind the operation, and then for everybody who raised their hand to be facilitators, and then obviously the culture committee. It was a great event, and we're really excited about the ones to come. So, yay.
Okay, terrific. It's hard to shift away from Jackie and Jean. Does anybody have any other bucket fills? All right, then let's move on. There's just so many cool things happening. And one of the things that happens almost every day is that Mary Ann Slam starts her day off right with something that she's mentioned to me many, many times as being really impactful in her life. So Mary Ann, can you take it away?
Sure, and I'll even do my video too. So yeah, every morning I start off with this Pivot Shift Ahead on Facebook group. I know there's also a Zoom, but I just join in on Facebook. And it's with this guy, James Shaw, and he's been doing it pretty much every day since COVID started back in March. I guess a couple days ago, it was the 100th plus call. And it starts off every day from 8 to 8:20. And it's really the inspiration to get you going. They're reading the Shift Pivot book, the Shift book from Gary Keller, so that every day they pick a page or two to read. And there's always a great nugget of information. The other day they were reading a page, it was all about buyer mindset. And I guess in this market, given the low inventory, they shifted the word from buyer to seller. And it was all about how to engage sellers in this market where they may be on the fence about selling and engaging them. So I think it's a great way to start your day. It's really a nice juicy nugget of information. There's tons and tons of people on the call. You get lots of feedback from what's going on in different parts of the world. They allow people to, add comments. I think it's a great way to start. So I just saw today that I was just listening for a couple minutes because I was doing something else. So I listened a little bit later, but someone actually has it on their training calendar, for the month of September. Listen to James Shaw every morning at 8 to 8:20. So.
You know what, Marianne? That's a great idea. We're going to do that. That's terrific. I know everyone has their own version of their miracle morning or their morning routine, but people who are successful have a morning routine. That's the key thing, whatever it is for you. And so I've loved hearing you talk about how much that has meant for you. So
it's really helpful. And Barbara Lewis turned me on to it, and she's on the call a lot, and you can see a couple people from her office. But it's nice to hear from people all around the country. Hear what's going on with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marianne. Welcome. So moving from one amazing person. Yes. Oh, somebody say something? Okay, somebody's dog. Moving from one amazing person, let's go to three amazing guys. You know what? Let's stop screen sharing so we can see their fabulous faces. John, Matt, Brian, you guys want to take it away? I know there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the mortgage world lately.
All right, want to go first?
Sure. So I think after we talk, I think Shannon's going to be going over listings. So I wanted to remind everyone that our marketing platform that we have, it offers free websites for any listings that you guys have. If you guys need open house flyers, something that you want to share on Facebook, there's a ton of free marketing that you can use for your listings, postcard campaigns. For those of you that aren't using it, please check it out. I'm going to put the links in the comment box so everybody has it. And if you don't have an account, just reach out to one of us. We can get you set up with a free account. But a lot of people are using it, and they love it. And thanks for the business as always.
Thanks so much, Brian.
Yeah, and to keep the theme with listings, I know at Keller Williams, you guys do lots of trainings and scripts. This week, the Fed spoke, and they did say that they're going to keep the pedal to the metal to keep interest rates low. as long as, the economy is, coming back. But this is an awesome opportunity because we have the election in 90 days. And it's a great script that I was thinking of, that the last time there was an election, interest rates jumped up over a full point in 3 days. And it totally changed the sentiment of people buying homes. Right now, as everybody knows, interest rates are at record lows. And many of our clients are getting, 30-year fixed money under 3%. It's not going to last forever, even though I wish it would. But the reality is that it's a great way to just put that in your people's minds, saying, listen, you have a golden opportunity to list prior to the election, because after the election, we have no idea what's going to happen. It could be about like in March when interest rates were bouncing around a half a point every day up and down. So it's just a thought that you guys could use to help create more of a sense of urgency over the next 30 to 60 days. I do know less people are less concerned about schools because the kids are going virtually. One of my best friends that owns a house in Summit, his daughter goes to Kent Place, and he's like, if I leave Summit, it doesn't matter because she's going to be virtual probably the whole year. So we have the school thing out of the picture right now because it seems like all the kids are going to be virtual. And let's just pray everyone's safe, and the college did stay in college.
Thanks so much, John. Great advice for all of us. Hey, Matt, is Matt on the call too?
I'm sorry. Matt had a previous commitment, so he wasn't able to jump on today.
That kind of stinks because I wanted to give him some kudos. I know he's been celebrating a lot of great stuff work-wise lately, so you guys will send our hugs and kisses along to him.
Yeah, Matt just hit like an awesome accomplishment, and him, Brian, and I celebrated with him on Wednesday on the golf course. We had a fun day.
That's great. So, as these guys said, and as you guys, all of our marketing about today's meeting, everything is about listings, right? So what I want to do, we're always looking to create a win-win at Keller Williams, right? Win-win or no deal. So Guaranteed Rate, who we love, who loves us right back, has given us a $50 gift certificate that we're going to give out to somebody. We're asking that person to spend it. There you go. It looks nice. We want you guys to spend it locally. Give back to your community, a restaurant, a store, whatever it is. And we're going to give it to whoever writes their name in the chat box. But wait, don't write your name in the chat box yet. You need to have taken a listing in the last week. So that's last Friday to this Friday. But wait, you need to have gotten your listing paperwork in, which you're supposed to do right away, between last Friday and right now. You need to have had the broker sign it between last Friday and right now. So this is a win-win. You guys get all the paperwork in on time. We're making Howard and Kara feel better. Guaranteed Rate is giving us this gift certificate for you guys to go back and give out into your communities. Is that really cool? So write your name in the chat box. Only, this is the honor system here, only no price reductions. I'm sorry, Stephanie, I love you. We're going for signed in the last week, all paperwork in, okay? And then we're gonna, Jackie has the coolest thing. Later in the meeting, we're gonna draw names. You have to be on this call. You have to stay on the call. And then you're gonna win that $50 gift certificate. Does that sound like fun? It's kind of nerdy how excited I get about these things. Okay, so let's go from nerdy to even more nerdy, and let's talk about graphs, slides, charts, etc. Particularly for all of your high C clients. The next slides, and a lot of these we go over every week, and Howard said to me yesterday, as we were talking about these things, Howard said to me yesterday, he goes, I think this is too much information for some people, but I'm hearing from a lot of you guys that you want these slides. So I've got more in here than usual. We're going to go over some of them quickly, and you guys can use and pluck through what you want for your own marketing. As I say all the time, I think this is one of the things we need to keep our eyes on for where we're going, right? So many of the stats that we look at are in the rear view mirror. This is one of the few that's going forward. So we still have a truckload of people out there looking for homes. We probably didn't need Showtime to tell us that, but I often hear realtors say it's a little bit isolating out there in your own world, in your own space. What's going on with everyone else? This is what's going on. There's no downtick here at all. Let's go to the New York one. Doesn't always mean a lot for us, but I like to keep my eyes on it as well. You know, gosh, they even have a bigger disparity than they did last year, with the yellow line on top, of course, being present moment. Okay, so the next slide we want to look at is one that you guys tell me is helpful. We are going to just continue to track this going forward because this is hard information to get from the MLS. So this is the one where I combined our whole Westfield area and our whole Summit area, and we just look week by week at what's going under contract. Showtime is probably the first thing that helps us gauge what's going to be going forward, and of course under contracts next. The next best thing. So we're not showing a downtick at all last week. And all the towns combined, we had 169 things go under contract a week ago, and we had 191 go under contract this week. So no sign of the sun not shining, still going forward. So we're all just gonna keep making hay for a while here. Now the next one is just a visual of exactly that. So if you guys want to be sending this out in your newsletters, or sometimes don't even get fancy, just start writing emails to your clients with your own words and say, you know, there's a lot of great information for sellers right now. Let's just flick through the next one. The next 4 slides really are just the same slides that we just had, but broken out. If you prefer to talk to your sellers just with the Westfield area, you have this chart along with the next one, which is in slide form. And then similarly, you have the Summit area, same numbers if you want to break that out, just the Summit area towns and the graph that goes along with that. So hopefully that you guys find that helpful. Now, you know, in my new life as team leader, there's different things that go on a day that just make me giggle, right? Than when I used to be selling. One of them is how excited Howard gets when he notices something on Broker Metrics and calls me. And this one got him very, very jazzed up. Howard, I don't know if you've said you've never seen it this high, but our market share over all of the counties, Moore, Sussex, and Union, I think Howard said has never been over 3 before. And we're over 3.1. Is that accurate, Howard?
Well, yeah, we just came up. We got down to like 2.6. So this is the highest it's been this year, I will say.
Okay, so it's very cool. That one, you guys have heard me say some of this before. It's helpful to be reminded of the scripts. What are you going to do with that? When you're in a listing presentation, you want to point out to people that of the top 10 firms in the entire Garden GSMLS, Keller Williams is 6 of them. That's number 1. Number 2, our Summit office, which is the one on the far left, but Westfieldies, I think you guys can use this too, because we are in a partnership. We are a group of firms. And as our group, the Keller Williams Premier Property Group, we are controlling more of the listings than anyone else, but more importantly, our yellow bar on the top shows that we are attracting and guiding more buyers than any other firm through the process. And you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would certainly want that firm listing your house, wouldn't you? So that's the script that I would use with this slide. Let's go on to the next one. Now, the next few slides, you know, I think Howard said to me, oh, these are too detailed for most people. So, you know, if your eyes glaze over, it's fine, but there's a lot of really good data in here. And Howard, feel free to kick in if you think I'm missing any, jump in if I'm missing any of the key points here. Again, I got a text in the middle of the day a couple of days ago of Howard very excitedly pointing out that this is a 10-year picture with median prices. If we're talking about the green bar, that's median prices. So it crossed over that 400 mark for the first time in 10 years. So yes, a lot of our towns, 400 is not the median price mark. It doesn't matter. This particular slide is only available on the broad base of counties. But what you need to do with this slide is say to sellers, the reason you need to list now is that as John talked about, we don't know what will happen after the election, even in terms of interest rates, but we do know right now that the median price is the highest it's been in 10 years. Howard, is there anything else we should say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's questionable how deep you want to dig with some of this stuff. It is interesting also on this chart to look at um, the number of units that go under contract, and you can see a pattern there with the red line rising and falling. Those are actually annual um, uh, occurrences as it vacillates up and down. There's 4 dots for each year, and the lowest dot in every single year, as was the case this year in 2020, the lowest dot is the first quarter every single year. But you can see that this year, instead of the second quarter jumping up a lot, the second quarter remained quite low. So it'll be interesting to see for the third quarter where that dot falls when we finish the third quarter. But obviously, COVID in the second quarter had a big impact, creating a chart mark that has never occurred before on here. So it's just interesting to see it show up on the chart form.
Oh, good. How are you, Wendy?
Let's, there we go. We'll mute Gail. Okay, so let's jump on to the next one. Whereas this one was 10 years only quarterly, this is the median price a little bit more granularly, even though we haven't finished Q3 yet. You can see that the sold price is up 7.3%. So even though we have, not even though, but because we have no inventory, that's really what's driving it up. The under contracts are in purple and the solds are in green. So Howard, anything else you want to say about that one?
I was just answering Vanessa's question. That previous chart, by the way, Vanessa, there's no ability to change that. It's just a pre designated 10-year period. No, but I was looking at this with Shannon yesterday, this current chart that we have up here, and it is extremely interesting to show what's going on in an environment where the inventory is constraining the ability of the market to have closings occur. And then you can see that the effect is that the prices are beginning to rise. I expect that's going to continue for some time. And the under contracts, I believe, will continue to decline as a result. We're truly starving for inventory. It's showing up in every way imaginable.
Okay, and one last slide on this topic. Keep in mind that when you guys are sitting and talking with your sellers and everyone else, you want to be assessing where they are on a DISC score, right? So I know for some of you that maybe haven't had as much DISC training, keep in mind we have those on the calendar often. You need them because you do need to understand the personality type of your clients. Right now we're talking specifically about sellers. So for the sellers that like a lot of data, or the high C sellers as we like to call them, you need to pluck through this and just become conversant with as many of them as you think are appropriate. This is a nice visual way to show people how dramatically the inventory is down. So if you follow that curve along the top, you can see that we're talking about, this is a 2-year chart. You can see how much lower it is than it was 2 years ago nicely in this chart. And that under contracts in this one, under contracts are up 32% versus 2 years ago. So
I think what's critical in looking at this chart is to these 2-year charts. Look, the month that we're looking at most recently is the July chart. So it's useful in charts where there is a cyclical effect. You don't have a cyclical effect in prices very much. You really shouldn't. So no matter what time of the year, you pretty much are going to be unaffected price-wise by seasons and cycles. Units, which is what we're looking at here, do get affected by seasons, and I think it's extremely useful to look at July in each year. So you just, with your eyes, pick out the month of July 2020, you can see it's the most recent month, then look back at July 2019 and then July 2018. And if you compare those 3 Julys with each other, you can see how much it stands out. The 2 previous Julys are very similar in terms of how many units were available for sale at the end of each month. You can see for July, especially, we're critically low, way down from July to July to July.
Yes, super helpful. So Howard also wants to talk about there's some other access that we have so that you guys can best know how to use charts and data to get more listings. So Howard, you're probably going to want to share your screen, right?
Yeah, I think if I can. I've shown this before. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so if you log in, this is a great way, I think, for agents to have a very easy to use, easy to explain graphic to put in front of clients. This is also something you can make a PDF out of and include this in a listing presentation, or even just in a newsletter or emailing it out to people. When you log on to kw.com, hopefully you guys can certainly at least get that far. You then would go onto the Market Center site, which you can see right here is a blue link. Hopefully you guys are able to follow that. You get onto the Market Center site, and the first thing that comes up once you're in the Market Center site are these, you see the chain links up here? It has a couple chain links. So you go to the links in there, and when you do, a bunch of links pop up. Go to this one here. This is available to all Keller Williams agents. So if you're an agent at any Keller Williams office, you have access to this. And what I would do is go to this and save the link as a favorite that you can just go directly to in your computer. So your laptop or if you're using a PC, go ahead and save that link. And this is what will come up. So if you are Maria Sai, say, and you put you enter your number in to this system right here, it'll allow you to do a couple things. One is you can generate a report on the entire MLS, and that's a choice right here that you can make. You can also enter down in here the number from the MLS. So for instance, Milburn Short Hills is 1612. And you can create these reports. Once you've done either one of these, it'll create what I think is a really great looking little report to share with clients. So for instance, this is what the display looks like, and it comes out kind of nicely, I think, where it shows the first of all the data, but also it has your name and email address, and then at the bottom there's a logo down there. So I think it's a kind of a nice looking thing. It's easy to understand. You put in front of clients, and you won't have any problem losing them because it's pretty basic stuff. And it also sends a message that hopefully you're trying to use in your presentation to good advantage. This is, as I say, the entire MLS. Looking down at this box here, you can see how incredibly different the inventory for numbers of units for sale last day of month is down 54%. It's almost an unimaginable change from July to July. And then, of course, as we've been saying, you can see the upward pressure in prices as well. Shows how many units up in this section here, the difference from the same month previous year going back a year. So you can see here we have this falling off of units selling as we went through. And then July, we're beginning to recover. We're only down 6.8%. Over in the left-hand side of this, you're able to see the units that closed in each section of pricing. You can't change, unfortunately, those ranges that are given there. So, if you're in a higher priced town, so for instance, if you're looking at, say, Short Hills, Let me switch over. So you can see this is just Short Hills. So it does look a little funny because a lot of the activity is occurring over 1.5 million. But even that is showing, some people might be surprised to see that you actually have more closings last month in July above 1.5 million, probably than most people would suspect. A lot of people like to say, well, it's lower prices that are being affected mostly, but really you can see in Short Hills an awful lot of properties closed over 1.5 million. So anyway, I think these are great things to use. They're free to you, and they are available, as I say, to any Keller Williams agent. If you have trouble getting in here, I actually tried to use Tom Hiles' ID to get in. It didn't work. So we can fix that for you if you just let us know if you can't log on to that. There you go, Shannon. You're muted.
Thank you, Howard. That was exciting, is what I said.
Oh.
If anyone wants more information on that and wants a special training with Howard Bunn on that, please put that in the chat box. I'm sure he would be happy to accommodate. So let's go back to our screen, our shared screen. And next we have, I want to tell you guys about the Roadmap to Success program. We had so many people sign up for this. Just as a brief recap, Roadmap to Success is people signed up, they got put in pods, groups of around 4 to 6 for most of them, and they are working on holding each other accountable, reviewing, reading, using the principles of the MREA and command. And I've asked a few people who are in Roadmap to Success program to jump on and talk a little bit about their experiences, because there is time. If you're not in the program, we will be starting some new pods. You can reach out to Allison. So I know Lucy, you wanted to talk about it a little, and anyone else who's in the program, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. We meet on a weekly basis, and it really kicks off Monday at the beginning of the week well for us. And I think the big thing is we are holding each other accountable, and we're also having that additional camaraderie that perhaps some of us have missed in the last few months. Plus, it's amazing, what you focus on expands, and suddenly you're reaching out to people in your pod for help with things that are coming up that you never expected. And it's just really, really helpful. But I think the biggest thing is the accountability part, and really also enjoying reading MREA in a sort of sequential basis, although we started with the end first, read the various agents and how they contributed to it in the very beginning, and now we've started again at the beginning of the book, and it really is a great roadmap. So I'm very, very pleased to be part of this program.
That's awesome, Lucy. Thank you. Anybody else? I know I heard a few people kind of giving me some really great feedback the other day. Anybody else have a success story they want to throw in there? Okay, we will take Lucy's word for it then. Lucy, thanks so much for sharing. If anybody wants to sign up, I've got Allison's email there. Most of you have it and can find it easily. So let her know. As we get new people, we will start some new pods.
I'd like to chime in with just a little something. We're focusing on in the groups, we're focusing on 3 things, which is a business goal, a command goal, and a personal goal. So it's not so broad that, you're shooting in all directions. We're very focused, and we revisit that as a group with our 6 people in the group, and it's really enjoyable. So I'd encourage you to get involved.
Thanks, Kara. I think a lot of times agents feel, even though you're talking to people all day, it still is a little isolating because you're running your own business. So this is a great way to get rid of some of those feelings of isolation and feel like you have partners. Let's go next to Maria. Those who know Maria love Maria, and she has so many talents, but she is going to tell us a few things about how to take all of the things you're hearing here and beyond to use it to focus on growing listings. So Maria, you can either share your screen or not, whatever you prefer.
Okay. I don't like to look at that picture, so I think I will take that off. So yeah, so I just wanted to just throw it out there, a couple of ideas as you're prospecting for listings and thinking about, you know, what is happening in the world can feel a little daunting. However, it is September, hard to believe that the summer is almost done. Kids are going back to school in some way, shape, or form. So there is sort of a little bit of a natural ebb and flow to our business and how we kind of shore up our seller pipeline. And so how do you prospect? What kind of value? What kind of conversation should we be having with them? So here's just a couple of ideas. So number one is the market data that you just saw. So definitely it's a story worth telling, absolutely. And even though some of the charts are really, you know, huge, you know, break it down, simplify it, maybe to make it more targeted for a specific town. So with the town that you live in, for instance, and then maybe the surrounding ones, and just being focused and sharing that information on social media for sure. Maybe you want to put that on your website and run a Facebook ad around it. I think particularly telling that last Teradatum chart that Howard just shared with us, there was a chart at the bottom that shows very clearly the lack of inventory, right? Because it just is a number of units for sale now versus last year. And that's a story in itself. And maybe that's just a social media post that you say, can you interpret this? If not, call me, you know? So there's one thing. Number two is there's this concept of, I'll call you when I'm ready, right? And sellers, we hear this a lot. So how do we drive home the message now that to bring your agent in early? So taking that as our marketing platform is really, you know, maybe centering a couple of social media posts. Maybe it's a postcard or a Facebook ad around that central theme. Bring your agent in early, because right now there are still leaves on the trees, the grass is still green. So even if you're thinking about, kids are still entering their senior year of high school, and so people may still be thinking, and people might be heading to retirement, so they may be thinking about selling in the springtime. But now's the time to call your agent, because we may want to photograph the outside right now while it's still beautiful, instead of in the dead of winter.
Hey,
And
Maria, I just want to jump in on that point. I think a lot of people who don't have listings, so they say, oh, I don't know what to market, I don't know what to do, I don't have a listing. I think that thing you just said about getting people to photograph the home now cannot be underplayed. I know, you know, when you were partnering with me in selling, we reeled in many a listing by doing that. People haven't thought of it. So you need to get out there and help people remember right now. The flowers are blooming. They need to photograph the home right now. That is a great way for you to begin to shore up business in 2020.
Exactly. And when you bring in your agent as your consultant, there are a lot of things that you can be doing in the meantime, in terms of fix-it items, in terms of decluttering. You have, you know, take that winter downtime to really get your home ready. So we'll help you photograph while it's still beautiful on the outside, and then we'll work in partnership throughout the duration of the winter to make sure that you're ready to go. And those are the conversations. And I feel like between social media ads, Facebook ads, postcards even, and I know that I haven't been getting anywhere near the volume of postcards at home. So I don't know, guys, maybe there's something to that, to stand out above the clutter, but that feels like the natural conversation to be having with sellers or potential sellers as you're going out and marketing.
So Maria, if you were going to do 3 things this week as a realtor, give me 3 easy steps what you would do to make a piece of a marketing schedule for September. Let's say 4: September, October, November, December. 4 things that people could gear up to do to start their, you know, their listing push for either the ones that are ready right now or the longer tail ones that will be coming in the spring.
So the first one is I'd sort of think about an urgent one, right? So anybody that's ready right now, to inform them on the data. So that would be, I would absolutely stagger my social media posts. I'm really still a fan of print, so I probably put together a postcard that I would send out, especially to my farm area, really keeping them abreast of that information. And then the second part, in terms of planning, I would drive home that message. So I would do social media posts. I would actually create a website, a landing page, and run a Facebook ad on, your agent is your consultant. So you can plan that as you go forward. And hit the phones, talk to our database, include that message in all of my email newsletters to my database. Really drive home that whether it's right now in the spring or 2 years from now, I'm still your consultant. I'm still your guide, and I'm here to partner with you and help you get it done. So I would really fine tune my message and just keep hitting it and consistently week after week. I hope that answers your question.
It really does. All right, guys. Hopefully, there's some great ideas about how to be marketing to get more listings. Sticking with the listings theme, let's bring Simon up. Simon's been just killing it lately with listings. So, Simon, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes. So, Simon, what we told everybody that we were going to talk about today is really focusing on how to get listings from your sphere. I know that you do a really good job with that. So why don't you talk us through what people should be doing and I really kind of want to focus on the right now. What should people be doing right now to reel listings in from their sphere?
Yeah, so Shannon, I think the question you really want to ask is like what you can really do to get more listing. And I think the key is that, I know you guys been all doing all the care calls already with all your spheres and your leads and your open house people. I think right now the time is to really call them and tell them, knowing you being a local expert, make sure you know your inventory, like what's going on in the market. And, when you talk to your spheres, I'm absolutely saying that, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How are you holding up with COVID-19? All that stuff that you do, right? And then they're gonna say, how's your summer and all that stuff. Do your form model, your family, your occupation, your recreations and your dream. That's really key. And then, but really focus and say, hey, look, you know what? Right now the market is really hot. Just based on, let's just talk about one town between Milford and Short Hills. Last year this time, there's about 176 homes that was on the market. Today, there's only 92, but out of the 92, some of them's already under contract. And, those are really, with the market, shifting in a way that because of more space, one office and pool, have you thought about selling at this point? Because, right now the low inventory is high demand. You probably get the best, highest price you can, that you can right now at this point. So, yeah.
So Simon, I think sometimes when people go to trainings and they hear everybody talk about what you should say, it sounds very scripty and hard for people to realize that that's actually how the conversation plays out. So will you just do a quick role play with me? And I'm someone in your sphere, right? So you're making your call to me. Let's just role play that.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Hi, Sean, how are you doing?
I'm great, Simon. How are you? Sorry, I'm great, Simon. How are you?
I'm doing great. How was your summer? And, is the kids back at school? What's going on with them?
Yeah, the summer always goes too quickly. 2 of my kids are home because of, college not being live, etc. One of them did get off to college. So, I anticipated having an empty nest, but it's only partially empty.
Yeah, I know we talk about that. I hope your son is safe out in, back at school, and the other ones do virtually learnings. Have you thought about, right now the market is really extremely hot right now. Have you noticed that?
I'm kind of hearing that. Well, I noticed when I drive around, I used to see for sale signs. Now every single one has an under contract on it. It's just, wow.
Yeah, because you know what, the demand is still there. Based on last year market, we have less than 50% inventory right now on the market. So the demand is amazing with all the people moving from the city, Hoboken, Jersey City, and Brooklyn. They all want to be in the less dense area. So if you have space and a yard and an office, they're really looking for that right now. And there's still buy out there right now in the end of the summer. So it's really, if you're thinking about, you talk about you being an empty listing, this is definitely still the time to consider getting your house ready and put it on the market.
Really? I mean, we weren't, so much thinking of it yet because 2 of them are still home, but I mean, we are going to need to sell over the next, while.
Well, what we should do is that, we should schedule a meeting and just to talk and I can come over and just show you what's going on in the marketplace right now. And you'd be amazed how some of the houses are getting, they're getting multiple offers and some of them getting 5 to 10% higher than asking price. Wouldn't you want that right now during the height of the market?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to waste your time because I'm just not sure what we're doing. I mean, what you're saying gets me thinking, but I don't know if I want you to come over yet because I'm just not sure what we're going to do.
You're not, the thing is that you're not wasting my time. Listen, we're good friends and I just want to make sure you're aware of the market and I want to make sure you take advantage of it as, at the highest value as possible. If you decide that this is not the right time to sell, that's fine. We can kind of like plan it out and when is the right time for you to do. At the same time, right now is, it's a summer month, your grass is all green, the landscaping is all beautiful, everything is all nice and green. It's probably a good time to even think about just at least getting an exterior picture getting done.
Oh, wow. I hadn't really thought about that. Well, I'll tell you what, I need some time to clean everything up and stuff. I mean, I don't know. There's a few things I probably wanted to do before I'd even be ready to have that conversation.
Well, actually, I prefer you not to do anything to the house because like you might do something that was not really necessary. Because for us to come in, no, we do buyers and sell it every day, 24/7. So we see in the buyer eyes what they're also looking for. So you might think, oh, this may be need to done. We can come in and really give you a guidance on what is the best way to, to get your highest value and not to spend a lot of money. Wouldn't you like that?
Well, when you put it like that, I sure would.
Yeah, and then we have also resources that we can help you that can really you spend a little money, but you gain a lot more. And that's our goal. We want to get you the highest value in the shortest amount of time.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's break the script. I mean, that you did a great job for me as just someone that would be in your sphere. Once you start with talking to me about my life and my family and then moving into the real estate, I think that's where sometimes people get stuck on care calls. They make the care calls and they don't necessarily know how to shift it to real estate. And what I also like that you did is even though it started out with a care call, you did push hard enough to say, look, Shannon, no matter what you think and when you're going to move, get some advice. I actually like that you pushed a little bit on that. Whereas I think sometimes people who do less prospecting call wise feel like they're not going to be able to make that jump. I was glad you made that jump, even, just pretending myself actually in those shoes. So I think that was great. Okay. So getting sellers from your sphere, you're making those calls. What else are you doing, Simon, to stay in touch with your sphere to make sure when they're ready to sell, they think of you?
Not only we make calls, we definitely stay in touch with them by sending them, either bi-weekly or monthly market reports. That's really key today because they, even they might not think about it, they still want to know what's going on in the market, right? And if there's a house down the street from where they live, and it's so under contract in less than 10 days, you should really pick up the phone or call and say, hey, by the way, did you know your neighbor just sold in less than 10 days and they got multiple offers? Obviously, you need to make sure you find out the information from the listing agent that did they get multiple offers and how was it? And get as much information before you call your spheres so they know, say, hey, if that's the case, then, you might want to think about your house. Do you have any plan to sell your house anytime soon?
Okay, let's even break that up, Simon. So let's pretend tomorrow isn't Saturday. It was a regular day just to do lead gen. Somebody sits down, they think, okay, I got to call so-and-so, A, B, and C, whatever letters in their sphere they're calling that day. Break that up. What do? You start your morning, you're going to make those calls. How do you make sure you know the information? You said earlier, you got to know your inventory. Give me a routine that agents should be in to make their lead generation time productive in the way that you just said. What inventory do you check? What do you look at before you make those calls?
So there's different type of calls, right? So let's play out the one that let's just say someone down the street that they just sold a house, and we can do that one. And then you really want to look at that particular area and also that section, depending where you live. If you live in a town that is zoned by section, you should really know that section inventory and within the 5 streets surrounding, because they will ask you, because you know what? Most of them today are walking today. They're doing the exercise. There's no gym. They could be walking the neighborhoods. So they can see every for sale sign that's out there. So you need to make sure, you can say, hey, by the way, did you know your neighbor at 123 Main Street just so and had multiple offers? And they can come back and say to you, hey, we were walking down 3 blocks on 123 Valley Street. Do you know what that sold for? Is it still under contract? So you need to make sure you know your stats. You need to know being the local expert is key today. That you have all your information. Doesn't matter where you live, from Milburn, Short Hill, Maplewood, South Lawn, Chatham, Summit. Before you call each day, you really should know your inventory, what's on the market, what's under contract, and what's sold over the last 3 months. And that's really going to help you to be, you want to sound knowledgeable. You want to making sure that you have value to give back to your spheres or your leads or your open house people. So even for open houses that they come in and you have the name, and you can call them and say, by the way, the house that we didn't bid on has 5 offers in it, just so they know that they didn't bid on it because they may not be interested. But at the same time, just make sure they know the market is still hot. And also, I think you want to make sure translate that, people sometimes tend to think summer, things are slowing down, and we can just kind of have a summer and just relax and wait for the fall market. The way I look at it, this is really an unusual market this year. It is really, really not the same. Remember, we lost March, April, and May almost, right? So our whole market have shifted. Our spring 1 and 2 have shifted to the summer market. That's how I'm looking at it. The summer market have shifted to the fall and winter market. So you still have September, October, possible November. You still continue to get listing. That's 3 more months. So if you can continue to get those listings, and you can have your pipeline ready for the next 3 to 6 months. Because after November, who knows? There may be another, shutdown that you don't know. You want to plan it. Right now is really good planning season. And as I say, that for the exterior picture, this is, again, really good time. Don't wait till September, October to have this conversation. This is the time, because summer is the most green. And, if they have a pool, take that picture now. Even they might not be ready. Take that picture, exterior picture now. Because some reason, let's say you decide to list it in January and February, it's so much better having an exterior shot that's all green than have no leaves or having snow on the ground.
Awesome. So Simon, last question. You're sitting down at somebody's dining room table trying to, not convince them, but help guide them if they are thinking of selling, that now is a good time. Talk me through another brief role play on creating some urgency to list now. Do you want to do a quick role play? So we're sitting down and maybe I say to you, you know what? I'm just not sure if I want to do it now or wait till the spring, which is, typically when people do it, right?
Okay, sure. Yeah. Ready? Okay. So Shannon, I don't have a crystal ball what's going to happen in next spring, but I can tell you right now, currently, if you list it within the next 2 to 4 weeks, the market is still extremely very strong and hot at this moment. Based on inventory, again, last year we have 176 homes on the market. Now we have about 92, and out of the 92, we have probably most of those, I say 20% of those under contract. So which means you have less than 50% of inventory compared to last year. So as the low inventory, you have high demands, and your chances of selling a house compared to 2019, that we were in the shifting market, we're shifting in a different direction. Right now, we are shifting to the seller market at this moment. I don't have a crystal ball what's going to happen after November with everything that's going on. So if you really seriously think about putting on now, it's really a good time at this moment.
Terrific. I'm sold. Where do I sign?
Right here. Just let's just put everything online, and we'll get you all going, and we'll get a whole team ready to go with you.
Okay. Make sure everyone wears masks and booties in my house, please.
Absolutely. We definitely have all that safety precaution in place, and we make sure they also sign a waiver as well.
Okay. That's terrific. Thank you so much, Simon, for sharing. You know, I think it really helps people to spend time with realtors, talk to realtors, listen to realtors speak, because we all start to internalize these things that we call scripts that really aren't that scripty. They're just conversations. But when you have the same conversation over and over and you talk to realtors about their having it, I think it really helps elevate everyone's level of being able to communicate with their clients as effectively as possible. So thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, it's not really script because it's each one of them a different conversation, because you have to know their life and their lifestyle and their kids and what's going on. And once you have that conversation, and also the occupation, what they're doing, they might have a job, they might not have a job. If the kids are really outdoorsy, and if their dream is to move down to Florida or relocating, we have a lot of that conversation right now. People are moving since they don't have to be because they're working from home right now. And a lot of them also working to home into January or maybe longer. Their company's telling them that you can work anywhere. So they no longer need to be in the same location. So there's a lot of relocation happening that you may not know. But if you don't make that call and ask that question, you may not find out.
You find out when you see some other sign in the front yard. And
exactly. Sometimes that's too late. And sometimes, like, when I tell our team is doing an amazing job. They're all working really hard right now. And I tell my teams that, listen, when we see a sign that someone it's not because they didn't touch base with you, because you didn't do your job, that we didn't do our job, that to really stay in touch. The key to success is really stay in touch with all the people It's all about conversation. You touch them 4 times a year, but right now you might want to touch them a little bit more based on phone call. And then you also send email every so often, and make sure you stay in touch with them on social media. Let's see, if you see them have a happy birthday, wish them a happy birthday. You see the kids going to college, say, have a great semester, be safe. Or, they're traveling on vacation, like, have a great time. Really simple, easy things, just they know that you do care.
Hey, Simon, last question. Why do you think that I always see you and all the other top agents at every mega camp every year? Why do you think not everyone signs up? Help me understand.
I am there every year. I know some of the top team here as well, go every year as well. I always get something out of it. The way I look at it, yes, it's a 3-day, but also there's a lot of great breakout session that the information, the value that you can bring back to your team or your spheres or your leads, it's really amazing. Even some of the top agents that, I look to people who's doing $200 million or like, over $1 billion a year. It's like, how do I get there? Like, sky is the limit, right? So like, what can we do to continue to grow? And when you hear those top Asian, really top Asian talk, and you see, wow, that's really makes sense, and what I can do to the next step and how to continue to grow your business. And the breakout session is phenomenal. And the way I really look at it, obviously you can't implement and achieve everything that you learn from the mega camp or family reunion. But those both things right now is so easy to do. Right now it's all Zoom and all. It's not like you have to fly to travel or go to get a hotel and all the extra expense. It was what, $149? Is that what that is, right?
29.
129, something like that. It is so worth your time and money, because if you get 3 items out of that and you achieve those 3 items, you will make that tenfold.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right. Last thing, Jackie, why don't you take over the screen? We got to figure out who is a $50, who's our $50 winner. You good, Jackie? All right, here we go.
Can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
All right, let's spin the wheel.
So everyone's name is on there that has their paperwork in the last week. Woohoo!
Denise Payne, congratulations.
Awesome. Denise, that's amazing. And Guaranteed Rate is going to send you your $50 gift certificate. We can't wait to hear how you spent it.
Great technology, Jackie.
Thank you. That was a fun one. I like that.
Nice job, Jackie.
Thanks,
All right,
Annie.
everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Go out there and get some listings.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Shannon.
welcome.